welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Jessica, the naturopathic doctor here at the Coach House. And we are actually live on location in Hairston at, Reroot Farm, but we're here with Henceforth Farms, which is actually the provider of the local CSA that I use. So, Stephen is here to talk a little bit about farming and CSA, and so I'll let you kick off with what the CSA is for those that don't know.
Okay, so we run a CSA program with 30 families in Waterloo, and the CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So the way agriculture works these days is for an individual like me with very limited background and not a lot of social infrastructure, community supported agriculture allows me the opportunity to invest forward in a season while mitigating risks that come along with all the responsibility of that. So what that means is the 30 families that are members of our CSA program invest in my work at the beginning of the year, knowing that they will reap the benefits of the harvest now in October. So earlier this year in March, the 30 families paid forward the fees associated with picking up a share of weekly vegetables every week. And it allowed me the opportunity to invest in soil, potting soil, seeds, gas to run the tractors, and then I went to work, and every week, starting in June, every Thursday, I've tried to bring 8 to 12 items of roots, fruits, and greens from the garden to supplement the diets of these 30 families with local organic produce.
Yeah, so it's a membership essentially, right?
Yeah.
That you sign up for at the beginning of the year. And so this would be actually a good example of what you're actually getting, right? So I think last week we got kale, we got collard greens, we got carrots, broccoli. What else did we get? We got a squash.
Yeah, the tomatoes,
tomatoes, yeah, we got tomatoes. We got lots of tomatoes, spinach. Yeah, so we just get like a mix and pick it up.
So part of the story of your food is that what you get in your baskets in June is not the same as what you get at the end of August.
Totally.
In the early springs, we grow greens and fast-growing crops like radishes.
We got kohlrabi, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then come the end of the summer, after the heat of July and August has plumped up all your tomatoes and peppers, you get your tomatoes, peppers, and your squash.
Yeah.
And then the heat subsides and the fall comes back and you get your spinach and your lettuce again.
So you're essentially getting whatever is harvested, right? Whatever's in season and is ready to be harvested is what you get every week. So how did you get into this? Like, how did you start with organic farming? You started with a Reroot, and now you've kind of rented land and you're doing your own.
So
farm.
This is my third season farming, and prior to this I had no agricultural experience. I was a kid from the suburbs who I went to school for sociology.
Yeah.
I moved to Toronto with my partner, and I had office jobs. I've worked in the nonprofit industry.
Yeah.
I've had construction jobs, and these were topics of permaculture and sustainability were always things I read at an arm's length. And then it was interesting because I got involved in this almost on a whim, but Caitlin is part of a network of farmers called the Craft Network.
Cool.
And so she invites people like me who want to learn to come to the farm and share my time and my labor for her wealth of knowledge. So
It's like an internship, kind of.
I could go and study at Fleming's, the sustainable agriculture, or I could immerse myself and teach myself. Having already gone through schooling and taken on all my debts, I thought it'd be wiser this time to teach myself this sort of thing.
And you learn more doing it, right, than you will reading in a book.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 seasons ago, I showed up, and I haven't left yet. I haven't left since.
Yeah, and now you have your own, because you're kind of with Reroot, but you're your own. You're Henceforth.
So 2 seasons ago, I was her intern, and I knew nothing. I was green as grass, and it went really well.
Yeah.
I really liked it, and I pursuing the options to continue learning. So we came back and I did a second year, not so much as an intern, but I took on a little bit more responsibility. So she'd give me tasks and just send me on my way to go
Yeah.
do them. And I just caught the bug. And at the same time that I started doing the sustainable agriculture, my partner got involved in floral design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of been awesome because we get to share those interests where using the infrastructure that I've amassed here to grow vegetables, I can help her grow flowers. And so we've been exploring flower farming and floral design.
Yeah, because Henceforth also does flowers, and you've just teamed up with Sustainable Market as well to offer
Sustainable
flowers
market.
through them
That's-
in Waterloo too.
Mhm.
Yeah, which I saw, which is pretty cool. So why organic? Why pick organic over conventional? I have lots of answers, but we're gonna let the farmer do it.
So I think about this very often, the answer to such questions.
Yep.
And what I'm going to do is I won't draw a dichotomy between normal
Yep.
and organic.
Yep.
Because we always exist within the backdrop of corporate controlled agriculture.
Yeah.
And I'm just a guy with 3 years experience who's trying to feed
Totally.
my community members. I'm
Yep.
not trying to create a commodity.
Absolutely.
So I can discuss what the principles of organic agriculture
Yeah.
that drew me in. There's a few facets that kind of create the ethos of organic agriculture. There's principles upon which it's based. Principle of health, of ecology, of fairness, and of care.
Mhm.
So the principle of health, you want to eat better for your own health, the health of your family. And when you get involved in food systems, you think about the health of the environment. So you think of the animals that are displaced by large-scale agriculture, or other plants like
Mhm.
local flora that gets messed around with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another aspect of the health of the system is, as a farmer, is the health of the soil. So there's the health of us, the animals, the plants, and we have to really focus on what we're doing to the soil, because it's the soil that gives us all the vegetables.
And that kind of leads into the sustainability part of it, right? Like
Absolutely.
The crop rotation and all of that.
Oh yeah. And so another thing with the health of the humans, plants, animals, and the soil is that it's all one and the same. It's all indivisible. You can't kind of put things in different boxes. And that's kind of a more abstract idea, but I kind of really dig that.
Yeah.
And so there's the health, there's the ecology. So part of the sustainability and permaculture schools that teach me my little tips and tricks of farming is that you want to respect and mimic local patterns. That's why you eat seasonally, because
Yeah.
you work with what your environment can give you.
Yeah.
Not what you maximizing what you can take from it, but kind of living in harmony with it.
And even like health-wise, you are better off eating in season for your body, right? Like with the changes in seasons, with the change in temperature, you should be eating more in season in general.
Yeah. And beyond that, I'm also really driven by the social aspects of food. And with a lot of the organic producers, they really focus on the principle of fairness. So with my CSA members, there's a very, it's capitalism based on shared values. And we all come together because we all are trying to achieve something better, however abstract that is. But with that fairness comes a level of trust with my customers, who are
Yeah.
my community members. And it's through that trust that props me up every spring, and through that very trust that I want to fulfill at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And people want to see me have a fair wage, so that
Yeah.
they want to know that when I put in my 12-hour workdays in the early spring, planting everything, that at the end I can sustain
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, you're essentially cutting out any kind of like extra middleman, because we are paying the farmer to grow
Right.
our food for us, which is awesome because I do not have a green thumb. That is not my thing, so I rely on this completely.
And part of what I like to do with the direct marketing is create that story for people and share that knowledge with people and make them a part of the process.
Yeah.
Part of what the message was in the early spring was Henceforth Farm is your farm because you're a CSA member. And so when I come down every week, I'm going to tell you what crops failed because of the weather or because I'm still learning how to grow that crop. And when I do really well with crops, I want to share that bounty. So that with the whole shared values thing is that people pay it forward in the spring and they kind of accept the risk that comes along with that, where if I fail at growing broccoli in the early spring because it's so hot and it didn't really work out, they're okay because it's just part of the story of where their food comes from. They can draw a direct line because it's the same hands that planted the seed, harvested that food, handed you that food.
Totally. Yeah, no, we've been very happy with our CSA. Sign up is in the early time of the year, so like January, February, you were saying. So what we'll probably do is we're gonna in the future do a little bit of a blog post that kind of goes through what the CSA is, pros, maybe some cons. Same with like farmers markets, pros and cons. Some of the like online farmers markets, like your sustainable or Bailey's is the other one in Waterloo, some of those pros and cons, so and break it down. But we're gonna actually share this before you do your CSA Shanna, because I know I've told a lot of my patients about how great it is to get involved with the CSA with your food and your agriculture and the sustainability and the organics and the local and why it's such a wonderful investment. So we want to have all that information. But
wait a second. What's your favorite vegetable?
Oh, we eat a lot of vegetables. I think kale.
Kale?
Is that sad?
No.
Kale is actually probably my favorite.
How do you cook it?
Oh, we bake it. Kale chips all the way.
All right.
My kids love them. We actually have to fight over them sometimes because my husband will put out like the big bowl and then you'll come back 5 minutes later and they'll have cleared it because that's all they want to eat.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the kale chips, but I'm bad at the delayed gratification because they're gone as soon as you bite them.
Yeah, oh, they're so good. I think that's probably my favorite. Yeah, and then all the basics. Like there was a lot of lettuce this year, which was great because it was hot and
there's a lot of rain this year.
Yeah.
So it was nice for the lettuce.
Yeah, and we got a lot of So every year is going to be a little bit different, right? Like I know with our first one when we did this years ago with reroot, it was a lot more field greens, whereas this year it was a lot more lettuce. So it changes, right? Like it's going to change. Now, is there anything else you want to mention? Because if not, I'll wrap it up for everybody.
There's so much.
There's so much.
But I think I've made my case.
Oh, and that's the other thing too. Like you were saying with the family, you guys actually run like on-site evenings and meals and invite people up to the farm. Reroot a little bit probably more, but you're kind of the same land.
A little bit of a farm and family.
Yeah, so which is pretty cool. So. Yeah, so we want to say thank you to Steven from Henceforth for being here. We are going to be back in 2 weeks with Jillian, our physio, who we're finally peer pressuring into going on camera, even though she's a little bit nervous. We can be persuasive when we need to be. So we're going to have more information, links to Henceforth Farm and some of that up on the blog later on this afternoon. And thanks for watching, and we'll be back.